be undertaken for the benefit of the country. It is similar in a way to the Tata Institute of Fundamental Studies in Bombay, which was set up by Pandit Nehru with the help of Homi Bhabha around the middle 40s.
Fundamental research is the backbone of applied research. It is the backbone of the economic and social development of any country, and a precursor of new inventions and the cradle of the young scientific talent. Over 3 decades after independence, there was no organization in Sri Lanka to address the demand for fundamental research. The National Institute of Fundamental Studies, NIFS, was established in 1981 by an Act of Parliament by His Excellency the President J.R. Jayawardene, on the premise that scientific progress in any country depends on a cohesive network of national scientists involved in fundamental research. The NIFS will be a global partner in fundamental research of national importance for improved quality of life, while promoting North-South and South-South dialogue, offering a platform through science dissemination. The NIFS acts as a catalyst in transferring promising scientific discoveries to potential applications by strengthening industry research partnerships. The NIFS will also establish multi- and transboundary research partnerships with national, regional, and international organizations in solving scientific problems in Sri Lanka. The NIFS is nourished by an array of world-renowned Sri Lankan scientists as former directors, as Professor Chandra Wickramasinghe, Professor Cyril Ponnamperumal, Professor Kirti Kendukon, Professor C.V. Dissanayake, and Professor Parakrama Karunaraman. The NIFS is driven for excellence under the dynamism of the present director, Professor Saman Senuvega, who has already marked Sri Lanka on the world map, excelling fundamental research in plant pathology. The 2019 Annual Science Conference of the NIFS offers scientific discoveries in the past year for public audit. The 17 NIFS research groups align, along with energy and advanced materials, theoretical physics and computational studies, natural products and food chemistry, microbiology and carbon sequestration, earth, environmental and biodiversity, molecular biology and biotechnology. We should preserve every scrap of biodiversity as priceless, while we learn to use it and come to understand what it means to humanity. NIFS Research Group on Evolution, Ecology, and Biodiversity focus on understanding how the loss of biodiversity modifies ecosystems. Our researchers use taxonomy, molecular biology, phylogenetics, and field ecology to build a comprehensive understanding of the evolutionary processes involved in the formation of biodiversity. In the modern world, our taste buds, our brain chemistry, our biochemistry, our hormones, and our kitchens have been hijacked by food. The NIFS Food Chemistry Group focuses on exploring the application of food chemistry to underutilized plant resources. Adding value to the underutilized resources is vital, as Sri Lanka has enriched the biodiversity of plant resources. The researchers also devised technologies to ensure the quality and authenticity of food products to safeguard consumers from fraudulent practices. The NIFS Nutritional Biochemistry Research aims at the functional and nutritional properties of food, food bioavailability, and food safety. The NIFS biochemistry researchers pursue in-depth research to probe food antioxidant properties, enzyme inhibition, radical-induced DNA damage, and the identification and prevention of active compounds that pose health risks. Our world is built on biology, and once we begin to understand it, it then becomes biotechnology. The director, NIFS, leads a plant stress biology and molecular genetics research laboratory, which aims at gaining a comprehensive understanding of the mechanisms of climate stress tolerance in plants, in making informed decisions to improve the stress tolerance levels of plants. The research focuses on improving photosynthesis and yield gap in rice. Furthermore, zinc and iron biofortification of rice, and the minimization of toxic element accumulation. The NIFS microbial biotechnology and rhizobium researchers for agriculture and plantation crops. Biofilm biofertilizers are used over 15,000 acres of rice in Sri Lanka, cutting down 50% of chemical fertilizer usage while increasing crop yields by up to 40%. Rhizobium biofertilizers are now used in thousands of acres in legume cultivations, replacing urea. Further fundamental researches are underway to evaluate their potential as microbial ameliorators in the soil and the environment. Microbiology and soil ecosystems research focuses on determining the soil carbon sequestration potential, its dynamics, and the method of improvement in different major vegetation types of Sri Lanka. Our scientists use GIS technology for mapping of the carbon storage capacity of the Sri Lankan ecosystems. Molecular microbiology research interests revolve around microorganisms and human diseases. Our researchers aimed at understanding microbial diversity in the environment and also within the human body. It is often noted that taxonomy is sometimes science and sometimes an art. But really, it is a battleground. The NIFS Plant Taxonomy and Conservation Group is involved in taxonomic and biogeographic studies of flora of Sri Lanka, preparation of the National Red List of Flora, sustainable use of plant resources, identifying factors that affect the conservation of the flora of Sri Lanka, including the prevalence of invasive alien species and restoration of ecology. It is stated that you should never call anyone a baboon unless you are sure of your facts. The NIFS primate biology researchers conduct observational studies on primates in their natural forest habitats to understand their evolution of social behavior and provide a scientific basis for the effective management and conservation of primates and other organisms. Our scientific work has been buttressed by studies in population genetics, paternity exclusion, epidemiology, and physiology, ecology. The most significant mathematical condensed matter physics and solid-state chemistry research group seeks novel pathways to improve the performance of dye-sensitized solar cells using nitrogen-doped titanium dioxide or nanofiber-based gel electrolytes. They also engaged in developing rechargeable batteries using magnesium-ion conducting polymers. Low-cost nanofiber filters were also developed for arsenic removal in drinking water. The NIFS Condensed Matter Group also plays a pivotal role in the multi-university Solar Edu-Training Research Development and Training Program, administered through the Science, Technology and Research Ministry for building a youth workforce competent in solar technologies. The aim of the Energy and Advanced Materials Chemistry researchers is to devise new avenues for renewable energy. They devised artificial chemical devices to mimic the natural photosynthetic process to produce green fuels. The researchers also devised chemical and photochemical methods for pollution control. Additionally, a multifaceted approach was proposed to elucidate CKDU etiological factors. If we wish to make a new world, we must have the new material ready. Material processing and device fabrication researchers are involved in basic research in material processing and device fabrication, with an emphasis on graphite-based devices, carbon supercapacitors. The NIFS materials researchers are also involved in the conversion of waste materials such as coconut shells to conducting activated charcoal for versatile applications in electronic devices to develop fast charge stations for the latest technology in electrical motor vehicles. Nanotechnology is the science and art of manufacturing with atoms. Nanotechnology and physics of the material researchers are active in the development of Sri Lankan graphite for rechargeable battery applications, advanced transition metal semiconductors for energy conversion, fabrication of nanomaterials and composites from Sri Lankan graphite, and development of local minerals for efficient water purification. The objective of the NIFS Natural Products Research Group is the identification of bioactive compounds from natural sources as potential resources for control of human and plant diseases, including post-harvest fungal disease in horticultural fresh produce. Research activities focus on understanding the chemistry and bioactivity of secondary metabolites from plants, fungi, and fruits of Sri Lanka using modern mass spectroscopy methods. If it is correct, it signifies the end of physics as a science. The Quantum Physics Research Group at the NIFS is engaged in investigating the fundamental aspects of quantum to classical transition, quantum chaos, quantum computing, and quantum non-locality. Our researchers aim to understand the light emission mechanism in single bubble sololuminescence, one of the major unsolved problems in physics. The main aim of the mathematics and computer science is to conduct research to make scientific advances in the discipline while generating knowledge needed for national development. We also focus our research on a wide range of areas, including applied mathematics, mathematical modeling, artificial intelligence, and data science. Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. The Earth and Space Sciences Division has several multidisciplinary research programs, some of which are in the state of inception, while others are in the state of continuing and completion. This division has a broad spectrum of projects cross-cutting economic geology, mineralogy, meteorology, geophysics, renewable energy, space technology, and multi-scale theoretical modeling to unravel the natural processes. The NIFS Environmental Science Research Group aligns as environmental sciences, plant and environmental sciences. In a broad sense, the research project and our researchers also address nationally important questions such as improved water quality, zeolite-based composites, and phytoremediation of industrial and farm effluents. The NIFS is looking to embark into fundamental research on philosophy and science history, ancient surrounding technologies, science and arts of archaeology, ethnic implications in science, and the social and philosophical sciences. The NIFS scientists are active around the clock to unravel the missing fundamental scientific components that retard the nation's development programs. We envisioned to be a world-renowned center of excellence for basic research.
Now, I would like to sincerely invite Professor Atula Sumathipana, the Chairman of the Board of Governors of NIFS, to address the gathering.
Our chief guest, Ms. Amber Disanayake. Guest of honor, Mr. Chintaka Lokuhetti. Our plenary lecturer, senior colleagues, scientists, good morning to you all. I just thought I'll take you through a few slides just to talk about culture shift, research for people's benefit. And I'm very mindful that we need to align our plans with the state policy of Saubhagya Datman. I'm going to quote from a document I contributed to, which was a national importance. The post-industrial knowledge economy today clearly displays the close correlation among economic growth, innovation, and indigenous research capacity. University-based research has been most effective driver of such economically relevant innovations. As a result, leveraging the public investment in universities to stimulate innovative research and development is now a critical need for the country to remain competitive in the global arena. Most high-ranking Asian universities have transformed themselves from teaching university to research universities in keeping with global trends. So therefore, NIFS shouldn't go back being to a teaching university, and we should advance all universities to research universities. Sri Lanka needs a paradigm shift to make research and innovation co-component of undergraduate and postgraduate education in order to produce individuals with both a creative vision for innovation as well as sufficient intellectual breadth and depth to realize that vision. Again, this is my definition of a strategy. A strategy is, for me, is capturing opportunity arising in a dynamic world, as scientific opportunities cannot always be foreseen. The flexibility to respond to a novel idea with solid potential is therefore crucial for success. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic has created an unprecedented window of opportunity for us research in as yet unexplored subject matter. Sri Lanka requires innovative R&D contributors to re-establish the economy, to ensure national security and for sustainable development in strategic important areas. With that preamble, the culture shift I talk about, we all know we grow as toddlers, go and we become very successful. But I'm going to question about the definition of success. How do we define? The important thing as a behavioral scientist to me, the attitudes. If we get the attitude wrong, the vision gets wrong, the strategies become wrong, and the focus will be completely different. The success in a very wrong way. We know the greatest terrorist leaders produced from this country. The attitude was wrong, vision was wrong, the pathway was destructive. So that is crucial. We get the attitudes right. Now, NIFS, for you and me, an institution with a proud history, significant opportunity, basic and advanced research, is a center of research excellence for cutting-edge research, supporting future research. But what is it for people? We need to reflect and think what the people think of us. Now, what is in here for me? A degree, patent, promotion, international travel, known worldwide, conferences. But what is there beyond us? That's what the culture shift I'm talking about. Research for people's benefit. Why beyond us? We are products of free education. Taxpayers pay money for us to be educated. Our research is funded by public money, and although we patent ideas, we carry forward what other people left. I personally don't think it's only very fragment of research fall from sky. We always carry the knowledge left by somebody else. We enhance it. So it's our moral and ethical duty to leave behind something. And it's not only the politicians who are accountable for what we do as academic. I think we should be hugely accountable to the public. And that's the culture shift I'm talking about. Culture shift, the ethos and the targets are very important. A bad attitude is like a flat tire. you can go nowhere without changing it. So therefore, again, as a behavioral scientist, I strongly believe attitude changes everything. And to do that, we need that attitude shift, change internally, which will ignite change externally. That's what the good leaders make of. We need to constantly reflect on our behaviors, attitudes, what we do with other people. And for me, it's very, very crucial for success. Now remember, action without a vision is a drudgery. It's just passing time. Vision without action is like daydreaming. Dreams are forgotten after we wake up. So never have dreams, have targets. And a vision with action, we all know, can change the world. Now, what is a good team? We have visionaries, we have theoreticians, but they don't get anywhere unless you have activists. But if you have activists without vision and theoreticians, it's like Palankade Pingona type of thing, bullying the Chinese shop. But remember, pragmatics are needed. I met Mr. Disanayake recently, which I thought the lottery, Eureka, was a great idea. Within 5 minutes, he put me in my place and said, you have to be a pragmatist. Thank you very much, Mr. Disanayake, for showing me something which I didn't think of. So that's where we need to reflect. We don't know everything. There are people out there who know other things. So it's very, very crucial listening to other people. And that's the culture shift I'm talking about, working in a team. Now again, Mr. Disanayake may disagree with me being a manager, but I do see a huge difference between a manager and a leader, a boss and a leader. Boss demands, rely on authority, issue ultimatums, say I, use people, take credit, place the blame, say go. But a leader to me, coaches, relies on goodwill, generate enthusiasm, always say we, not I, and develop people, give credit, accept the blame, says let's go. But having said that, I do appreciate from a sinking ship, you can't be too democratic, you have to get the people out as soon as possible. But NIFS to me is not a sinking ship. It's a treasure trove. At times do I doubt whether we are sitting on a treasure trove, either in ignorant bliss or muted awareness. That's why we need to constantly reflect our strength, weaknesses, opportunity to improve. Now I want you to see this. Look, disorganized, no teamwork, no prior planning. See how much time it takes to achieve this task. The job done can't take off. It's there. Okay, got off. Now let's see the next one. Look at the difference here. Planned, teamwork, it makes a difference. It's done. Now, the art of science, last few slides. You all are scientists. I'm not going to talk about science. You know all of it, much more than I do in fundamental and basic sciences. But I think we need to invest more on the art. Get our hands dirty, to taking the agenda to the people and be passionate about what we do. That's the culture shift I'm talking about for people's benefit of research. Now, this is a little bit for you to take home. I have heard enough from various quarters during my life. Can't do, no money, it's a challenge, this is the system, we can't get away from it. There's a thing called learned helplessness. Please do some reading at home. Seligman's, how show in research that how people get into this learned helplessness, can't do, can't get on, the challenges, it's the system, we can't change it. And there is a very nice video clip. You can go to the public thing about conformity. It's fascinating. I don't have time to show you. And it will show how the social sciences have shown conformity is counterproductive. We can use the same principles to change the way people think, the way people feel, and what people do. That's the culture shift I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to show you something which I have shared with you before. This is the most inspiring statement I have ever heard in my life. A man sweeping the NASA corridor, he was approached by a journalist asking, "What are you doing here?" Generally, if we interview somebody here in Sri Lanka, they would say, "I'm sweeping a corridor." But this man said, "I'm working to put a man on the moon." That only shows that he was working for an organization where the leadership was extremely clear about the task. And they were clear that they could communicate that vision to people irrespective of what they do or what their level of function. And this was a proud man saying, "I'm working to put a man on the moon." During my chairmanship tenure here, I want to see every member, irrespective of their rank, attending these meetings, scientific meetings, feeling proud about their role they play, irrespective of what they do. That's what I want to see. Finally, I want to reassure you by saying, reminding you by saying, individually we are no one, and one drop of an ocean, but together we are an ocean. On that note, I'm doing a lot of research these days to try and learn more deep about this institution. I came across a document in the internet. It's a review report done in 2013, in which it says, I'm going to stop by quoting this, in order to get the best out of a valuable human resource pool, the need for a more effective dialogue among different categories of staff was clearly evident during our discussion with the staff. Being a relatively small institution, build up and consolidation of interpersonal relationships to infuse team spirit among these disparate junior scientists and state within the corporate.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, it is my honor to invite our guest of honor, Mr. Chintaka S. Lokuhetti, to address the gathering.
Good morning. Mr. Arun Saranaga, the Secretary, Minister of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, Professor Atula Sumatipala, the Chairman of NIFS and Board of Governors, Professor Saman Senevila, Director of NIFS, Professor Rajesh Singh, Director, Global Center for Land-Based Innovation, Western Sydney University, Australia, the keynote speaker, scientists, researchers, university academics, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to participate in a meeting discussing research that is being carried out at National Institute of Fundamental Studies. I am personally keen on this opportunity as having been a researcher with Professor Kirti Tennakoon, who is here, Professor Kirti Tennakoon, who has been a well-remembered, long-served director of NIFS institution, coming after Professor Pannam Perumal, who was the founding father. In reviewing and more so in planning and executing research, we really must be conscious of what we are doing and the impact of all our activities. We spend public money on institute. We know the people are faced with many problems. We must ask the question what we have done in alleviating such problems through our research work. Yes, I understand the role of NIFS was to be the premier institute engaged in fundamental science. However, we still can ask the question, what had been the impact to the society? Finally, having listened to Dr. Saman, the DG of NIFS, I have heard quite a number of pioneering work that the NIFS had been responsible for. One in particular is in my mind, that the original work for disensitized solar cells happened here at NIFS with Professor Kenoko. Yet outside we only hear the Grester cell and his Swiss University and not about Sri Lanka. They are hoping, I think, the Nobel Prize for this work. I think gaining recognition is something of real importance. There was a time when Sri Lanka was in the top 10 of nations in the world engaged with disensitized solar cells. What went wrong and where are we now? Today, energy storage is on everyone's mind. I know that NIFS has been working on energy storage system for a long time. Also, I have observed in exhibitions, etc. The public really are interested when you demonstrate your research work. However, long years of research should move on to the next stage. Continuing research without reaching the market in some way is not helpful, and especially in resource scarce time, find people become more disenchanted with the work as exciting developments are not aired by the researchers. Treasury is quite skeptical when they only see money going in, but when nothing is coming out. I know that research is not something that you can conclude in a year or two. I myself work with Professor Kendokon and am aware of how we did the work here at NIFS, then IFS, those days, and at University of Rhode on superconductivity. At least the excitement should be communicated at all times. That is very important. From an institute with emphasis on fundamental research, this is perhaps the area of most important. Such news position Sri Lanka at a different position. Today our position in the global stage is not one to be proud of, and we must understand as researchers our own responsibilities in addressing this issue. We know that we have talent, but we may be lacking the drive. I know again, what you want always with terms of money and resources are not always forthcoming. Yet we must, while asking for dues, we must also strive to make do with what we have, and if we do the creatively, there should be definitely be light at the end of the tunnel. You need to have new programs introduced in our other areas. The key areas should always be looked at critically. During these exercises, you must demonstrate efforts to influence policy and related decision making. When it is a major issue, you must demonstrate efforts to influence policy and related decision making. When it is a major issue of total army in Sri Lanka, you have solar, geothermal, etc., etc. At times, we may have to say there is no such things as fundamental research, but all as applied research. The reason is you may insulate yourselves from the society if you solely go by the criteria that I am engaging fundamental research, and as such, I cannot reach out to the society at all times. Please think of this today. You must also seek solutions to issues that you may have seen in past. We do have the industry not quite satisfied with the transfer of biofuel and biofertilizer. You have your relationship with the industry that you help to develop, yet the the industry is not satisfied with some sectors due to issues of acceptance. Importance of royalties must be understood by the institute. When Treasury sees such developments, you know your battle for the funds are half won. With agriculture-based industry again coming into limelight, the work done at NIFS should be promoted. You have a research of bamboo, power phosphate, deposit, and many more. Maybe there is a need to dig in and bring some earlier work and add more value. These are things that you should discuss. Dr. Saman, the director, has actually done a comprehensive questioning of NIFS, and perhaps your report is unique among all the issues under our ministry. This ministry. I think you have done some improvements into research and management that others can learn from and emulate too. I look forward to becoming engaged during, I have to attend some other work as well. I will conclude my speech by quoting our great linguist and poet, Mr. Kumartunga Munidasa, I quote, saying, "Alut alut dan utadana jatiya no nonati." Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to invite Mr. Chintaka S. Lukuhetti to receive a token of appreciation from our director, Professor Saman Serengeevan. Thank you, sir. Now, let me cordially invite our chief guest, Mr. Anurag Dissanayake, Secretary of the Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, to address the gathering.
Good morning to everyone. Professor Sumati, Chairman of the Board of Governors of NIFS, Mr. Chintaka Lukuhetti, State Secretary for Ministry of Technology and Innovation, Professor Saman Serengeevan, the Director of NIFS, the former Director, Professor Thenapong, the senior scientists who are engaged with the work at NIFS, and all distinguished academics who had taken time to make some research and then to present their findings during the day, and all invited guests. And keynote speaker, Professor Bajay Singh from Western Sydney University of Australia. Just want to let me thank the Director of NIFS, Professor Saman Serengeevan, for inviting me for this very special occasion of your institute. Even though NIFS became to family of newly extended family of Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, my visit is fairly late. As you all know, that due to the unexpected pandemic, compelled us to come and share your thoughts and then share our vision. However, during the last week, we were able to, when the country is getting back to normal, we were able to have initial discussions. Meanwhile, my Minister Honorable Dr. Bandhu Mahathana had time to attend Professor Sivankana Peruma 25th anniversary forum, and then when he, upon his return, he briefed me that we should engage and we should dedicate ourselves to assist NIFS mission, to help to reach the mission and the vision of NIFS. When I read the annual research review document, I observed that during the last year, NIFS were able to publish over 75 papers in international and local journals. In addition, 145 research articles were published, and even were able to attract some external funding for much needed research. As Professor Samarth Senavira mentioned at his opening remarks, and as Professor Sumatipal emphasized during his very valuable, timely challenges that we are facing as a nation, and then validating Mr. Chitika Rukweti's explanation, we are facing a new decade, and this new decade is totally a different environment. They call it new normal. The word is being overused. Post-COVID environment, and plus Sri Lanka was not anyway facing a very sound economic and development era. We all knew that the country was when the new government formed. We were requested to rethink, replan, and come up with various new innovative development programs under the Saubhagya Dharma, the new government's new development agenda, which was ratified by the majority of people, and then it was transformed into a 5-year development policy framework, which was ratified by the Cabinet of Ministers on its second meeting, and then now we are obliged to work and plan and achieve on the new line of thinking. Let me explain some of the challenges vested with the Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, and I as personally me as the chair of the Presidential Task Force on Sri Lanka's Education Affairs. The mandate or the TOR of the task force is very clear. What it says is that the decade beginning 2020, 2030, unless we change our strategies, unless we change our development agenda, we will, this is prior to COVID actually, the country's position in every social and economic status will not be unless we change, will not be satisfied by the people and by including all of us. And maybe during the last 40 years, NIFS had placed in different places. I see when I talk to some of the professors, you talk about this legacy of you all being under the President's Secretariat, under the directory of the President, and maybe half a decade ago, you had to, NIFS was engaged with the surveyors under the Ministry of Technology and Innovation, Science and Technology, and now the new President had placed you the Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation. I see this extended opportunity that NIFS getting with this extended family bond under the new flagship of Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation. We see you are engaged in fundamental sciences, and some of them are applied sciences, and you always tap the resource base available in the national university system. And up to last year, it was you were getting support from outside, but now we all are in one family, and then and our duty and our opportunities are much greater, and our intellectual property capacity and numbers are increased immensely. Let me just take some of these Let me just take some of these fundamental challenges that we are facing as a country. We all know the country's population is 22.5 million approximately, and out of which 60% of people are engaged in agriculture. Another 20% depend their livelihood on small and medium industry, mostly small. That means 80% of the people are depending on either agriculture or small and medium industry. That is the processing part of basically agriculture and other commodities that we produce. So unless otherwise, all our support, all our knowledge is diverted to improve their living standards and their social standards and their education, their next generation education levels, as a country, we will not be able to achieve all our neighbors had done during the last few decades. So the president is very clear on his message, and he's emphasizing and repeatedly at every progress reviews he's asking, and he's directing us to direct all our institutions. He's addressing all the secretaries, instructing, advising all the secretaries to direct all the institutions under their mandate to drive towards making sure all our efforts ultimately reach the majority of people who lives below average social standards. 60% of people only contribute 8% to the GDP. You know, the agriculture sector's contribution is less than 10, sometimes 8, between 8 to 10. So you all know any equation. You know, when 60% is contributing 8% or 10%, the result is always not a positive one. It's going towards negative. And then the balance 20% also doing their activities on business as usual scenario, same methods, over the decades. And if you take to some of the major industries, major produce of ours, cinnamon, paper, and all sorts of things, we still, majority of people, even though these great innovations, great findings are being taught, is published, but it had yet to reach the common people's day-to-day work environment. So what President says is, to make sure all our institutions, including NIFS, all the great institutions comes under our ministry. The Ministry of Higher Education is blessed with, they've added TOR with great places like institutions like NIFS and Institute of Nanotechnology, Arthur C. Clarke Center, and ITI. And we also blessed with the National Intellectual Property Office, and then all these great universities, postgraduate institutes. And what President advised us is to make sure all these great people, all these knowledge base, divert towards making the social and the living levels of common people to improve. And as we know that, if we don't do that, what are the consequences? We always see that we talk about during colonial period and immediately after up to 60s, and we were saying that we were just next to that country or this country, and things like that. And then suddenly we were talking about this South Asia's first country to open its economy, and then a sudden growth of per capita, and then social standards, and then getting all these internet, television, and things like that. But what happened? Then we went again about 10 years revert, and then our our brothers in the northern region for their share, and then the consequence of that is drawback. So as a nation, to march forward towards development, we have to see the economic development which galvanizes the nation security and the economic prosperity and the long stability of a nation. So unless otherwise we make this opportunity and then divert ourselves into more applied research, and then some of these great findings that you all have done, maybe now it's time to take them out to non-scientists, the head of non-scientists, maybe to set of entrepreneurs and different set of thinkers, business people, and so. And they might, like Professor Sumatipala said, as we mentioned, there's maybe one discussion might turn this into one of your great findings into a global product, which will help entire mankind. So 2019 research findings I observed during the day, there were 24 to 25 presentations will be presented, and then I'm so glad to see the diverse area that you have done research, and mostly the area that I was talking. Mostly I see that earth, water, soil, and then agriculture, biology. So all have a direct impact to majority of people if your findings can reach their doorstep. However, the 40-year legacy of NIFS still consolidated by showing that you have number one position after 40 years, as Professor Selvari mentioned, in every measurement indicator, as number one research institute in the country. And like he said, and like Professor Sumatipala emphasized, we should put a 40 years is mature enough to make positive change. People say that 40 to 60 are the golden years of anyone's life. So maybe 40 years is a right time to be adult, and to make our premier historical goodwill that we have carried to transform the nation's development. And then it's the right time, to change, make the great plans of yours. My minister also fully endorsed after listening to you. He made 2 visits, right? Yeah, he made 2 visits, saying that, I'm sorry that it's my first visit. But as we know, our minister, we are blessed with a good minister also. Our minister's education is himself. And all his life he had devoted for education, and he's the author of 45 books. Some of the books have had 20 so 25 or 30 editions, and so he understands your language and what you're trying to do. So this postgraduate expanding the capacity of NIFS, now so far 11 number of PhDs that you have created, and then we have to create more. Maybe we spend so much of money to produce PhDs, overseas PhDs, and some of them, then we take a risk, by investing on some very good talents and sending them off. Sometimes we might not get back the basic investment that we have done to the economy. If they send them, I'm not saying that people should not be exposed, but but if we can develop the capacity of great institutes like NIFS to expand history to produce more and more PhDs and MPhils and then masters in these line of areas. Maybe perhaps the private sector might be interested in if we can be competitive. So that all these great institutions of the private sector were really engaged in agriculture, mining, and affairs of biotechnology. We may be able to extend our arms to improve the knowledge base of these people, so that the research can be really applied at the ground. So as a secretary of this ministry, I'm proud of NIFS achievement, and I'm looking forward. I'm so glad that under the very able leadership of Professor Sumati Pal, he always thinks differently, and then and we need that type of bigger into an institution when we are planning for next decade of 2020-30, and then Professor Saman Singh is able capability, capacity, and he's a person who had an early childhood and grown up in the farming environment. The majority of the people are coming from farming sector, and then he himself is coming from that environment. So all these professional and private experiences blended together with people like Mr. Chintan Lokweti. I just learned that he was engaged in some research work prior to joining the Sri Lanka's admission service. He was university academic, and then I just learned that he was doing some basic some early research activity during the time of Professor Tenapong. And so people, all of you under the new leadership, and then within 2 weeks we will know that whether we will have the same minister or not. And within 2 weeks you will know whether you will have the same secretary or not, because we are the in this country now most uncertainty hours are carried only by two parties, that is ministers and secretaries. So within next maybe on the 10th or 12th, ministers will know little for 24 hours before us, and then if everything goes well, if we can be the same team, let's work together. And if not, the same agenda, same development agenda, and same philosophy that that was mandated by majority of people. It's the first time that such a large number of people ratified a manifesto after independence. 6.9 million people had voted, meaning that the people need a change. That change cannot be vested on the 225 who goes to parliament, or the one who is at vote face. It is all of us who have to help and to transform this development agenda. Unless otherwise, if you don't give me new products, new avenues to drive, where do I go? If and we know that the human-elephant conflict, how bad it makes people's life. Maybe some people only talk about this number of deaths of elephants, number of deaths of people. They amounted to 250 elephants a year, and maybe 100 or 150 people, and that's all. But see the agony behind all these continuous movement of elephants into farmlands is destroying not only the crops, their hopes and the desire and the future of the next generation of farm families. All this, that elephants are also very smart. They don't come after harvest, or they don't come before harvest. They come at the right time during the harvest. So all the efforts is taken away, and then so that leads into less food production, and which leads to malnutrition. And malnutrition will lead to less critical thinking ability, and then it results into failure of mathematics, and then and then so on and so forth, and then poverty cycle goes. See, even the elephant movement in our countries has a severe impact on the lives and the social level of the country's development. Similarly, all these cases, these water issue, and then which result in this KDU, and then things, and then I'm glad NIFS is taking a front row on this nitrogen management, sustainable nitrogen management initiative. I am so glad and I'm proud that I was able to join with Norway and two other countries. We proposed a resolution at UNIA during 2008 in United Nations Environment Assembly took place in Kenya. So that time I was Secretary of Environment, and then my minister was president, and then the general UNIA address, UNIA's presentation is done by the legislative ministers or the head of government. But my minister or the president named me as the president's nominee, and then I was making the country statement, and then there I joined, co-sponsored the resolution of United Nations Environment Sustainable Nitrogen Management Initiative. And then we were able to, since we were one of the countries who were engaged in getting the resolution passed, United Nations, we requested to launch the international program in Sri Lanka. So UNIA or the United Nations so kindly agreed, and then we had the global launch of nitrogen sustainable nitrogen management global initiative, and then we passed Colombo Declaration, and it was 129 members attended. It was a great event, took place in Colombo, and so I'm glad that when I'm getting back, I'm going to make it electronic communication to United Nations Environment Program that joining the resolution, and then joining the launch, and then today I'm joining a national initiative that NIFS is leading on nitrogen. But we all know the consequences of overuse of nitrogen, and then and all these water pollution and things like that. So with that, I know the day is full of proceedings. 24 presentations to go, and so let me conclude my brief thoughts on the future, and once again let me extend my gratitude for inviting me for this great occasion, and the team who are full-time engaged in IFS, and the balance intellectuals who are joining part-time, with various other institutions to help the nation. I'm so delighted to be here this morning, and unfortunately I will not be able to wait till full session where there's another engagement, two engagements happening at the University of Pennsylvania, and so as long as we have time to move there, we'll be around. And let me wish you a very successful day, and then I'm sure some of these findings, some of these research papers have direct impact on what we are saying about the country's water. And then let me hope that this year you will select one or two flagship initiatives led by NIFS, so that those can transform some of these critical challenges that we are facing. Maybe it's the area of solar, the renewable energy sector, or maybe human elephant conflict, maybe that biofertilizer. That if we can roll it out, the amount of foreign action we can save, and amount of over use of pesticide which will have is all the nitrogen and all sort of things. So all these great initiatives, if we can make one or two flagship projects which will take out from the laboratory, lay out from the research paper, research journal into practice, that will be the expectation of the ministry. With that, let me wish you a very productive day ahead. And thank you once again for your contribution that you have done during last so many years, and let me wish you success for the years more to come with your contribution towards national development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I would now like to invite Mr. Anura. Thank you very much, sir. I would now like to invite Mr. Anura to receive a token of appreciation from our director, Professor Saman Senvira. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will now move on to the presentation of awards of the Annual Research Review 2019. I would like to invite Dr. Shalini Rajkarna to conduct the presentation of awards.
Thank you, Surendran. Now we have come to the most prestigious moment of the Annual Research Review 2019 of the NIFS. We are about to appreciate the research performance of the scientists of NIFS by giving away the awards for the most outstanding researchers of the year 2019. Most Outstanding Researcher 2019 will be awarded under 4 categories: Research Fellow, Associate Research Professor, and Senior Research Professor. The awardees are selected based on the overall research performance, including the number of publications, grants received, public outreach, and successful student supervision. Therefore, to present the awards, I would like to invite Mr. Anura Dissanayake, Secretary, Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation, on stage. Mr. Anura Dissanayake will be accompanied by the Director, NIFS, Professor Saman Senvira. First, we have the category of Research Fellow and Senior Research Fellow. The Most Outstanding Researcher 2019, the award goes to Dr. Renuka Ratnayake. Dr. Renuka Ratnayake works as a Senior Research Fellow at the NIFS, leading the Microbiology and Soil Ecosystems Research Program. During the year 2019, she has published over 15 publications, including 3 in SCI journals, supervised 9 research students, with 6 completing their degrees. Her contribution to the field of soil ecosystem research is highlighted in the first ever soil carbon map for a forest in Sri Lanka, which is a GIS-based map prepared to show the distribution of soil carbon in Nakas forest, and the first detailed soil survey conducted in the northern part of Sri Lanka after 1987. So let me invite Dr. Renuka Ratnayake to receive the award. Next, we have the Most Outstanding Researcher 2019 under the category of Associate Research Professor, Professor Suresh Benjamin. Professor Benjamin's contribution in the fields of evolution, speciation, molecular phylogeny, and systematics of invertebrates has brought so much honor to the institute as well as to the country. With his excellent research performance, producing number of publications in SCI and SCIE journals, and student supervision with 2 students completing their degrees in 2019. Recently, we celebrated his achievement in describing 100 new invertebrate species. Most Outstanding Researcher 2019 under the category of Research Professor. The award goes to Professor Rohan Veerasurya. Professor Veerasurya, the program leader of the Environmental Science Research Program, is a pioneer in water quality modeling and CKDU research in Sri Lanka. During the last year, he has published more than 15 publications with 17 students supervised under his program. With his contribution, NIFS has established a National Center for Water Research, which will be declared open today. Most Outstanding Researcher 2019 under the category of Senior Research Professor. The award goes to Professor Lalit Jayasinghe. Professor Lalit Jayasinghe, leading the Natural Products Research Program of the NIFS, has produced 6 SCI publications during the 2019 and has supervised 8 students with 4 completing their degrees. Now, we are moving on to Research Publication Excellence Awards. These awards are given based on the Scimago Journal rank of the journals that the awardees have published their research in the year 2019. The Scimago Journal rank indicator is a measure of the scientific influence of scholarly journals that accounts for both the number of citations received by a journal and the importance or prestige of the journals where the citations come from. We have selected publications in journals with SJR 1.5 or above for these awards. The awards are given in the descending order of the average SJR value of all the publications in journals above 1.5 SJR value. The highest SJR value publication award goes to Dr. Gayan Bowatha for his publications in American Journal of Respiratory and Critical Care Medicine, CHEST, and International Journal of Hygiene and Environmental Health. Next, we have the Director of NIFS, Professor Saman Senavira, for his publications in Environment International, Critical Reviews in Environmental Science and Technology, and Plant Science. Next award goes to Professor Jayasundara Bandara for his publication in Applied Catalysis B Environmental. The next award goes to Dr. Ruvini Lianage for her publication in the Journal of Food Chemistry. Next, we have the same award for the co-authors of the same paper, Dr. Chatuni Jayatilaka and Ms. Viswanathan, who are not here today, but they are also receiving a certificate for publication excellence. The next award goes to Professor Rohan Veerasurya for his publication in the Journal of Science of the Total Environment. This year, 11 Excellent Employee Performance Awards will be given to 11 selected employees of the NIFS after evaluating their work performance in the year 2019. They have been recognized as punctual, dedicated, and capable in performing more than one job to contribute to the development of the Institute. The awardees were selected by a 3-membered committee led by Professor Saman Senavira. I have the names in the alphabetical order. First, we have Mr. Gammage Aryaratna in the Accounts Division. Mr. Aryaratna is playing an important role as the in charge of the stores, responding to all the requests immediately and works very enthusiastically. The next award goes to Mr. Viraj Ekanayaka. He performs multiple duties in the Institute as the Chief Innovative Officer and in the SCDU team. He is the designer of the brand new website of NIFS, which was designed in the year 2019. The next award goes to Mr. Gunathilaka. In the Administrative Division, attends to all the logistic needs of the Institute and works tirelessly whenever his service is needed. The next award goes to Mr. Supul Kurupu. As the head of the administrative division, he is always loaded with many responsibilities and guiding a staff of many and attends to all big and small issues of the institute. The next award goes to Mr. Chanaka Lekamge. Chanaka is selected from the Research Assistance category. He is hardworking, not only in academics, but also he involves in all the common activities of the NIFS. Now he is looking after the administrative duties in the NIFS Arboretum in addition to his research work. The next award goes to Mr. Anurag Hathirana. As a Chief Technical Officer of the Microbial Biotechnology Program, his contribution to research and commitment, hard work, and long days spent in the field are highly appreciated. The next award goes to Mr. Ranjit Piris, as he is the electrician of the NIFS who is very innovative and attends to all his duties without any delay while being a good entertainer. The next award goes to our receptionist, Ms. Chandani Ranasinghe. The first voice you hear over the phone, the first greeting in the morning when you enter NIFS, is Chandani responding to all the requests promptly and keeps the institute alive by connecting us whenever needed. The next award goes to Ms. Sushiva Sakarasuria, who responds to all the computer matters of the Institute efficiently as a Chief Technical Officer in the Computer Unit of NIFS. The next award goes to Mr. Somananda Bolagoda, the director's constant companion, driving him on time to all his duties. We always say he's more than what he's meant to be. He is very active and engages in every activity of the Institute when the need arises. The final award of this category goes to Mrs. Chandrika Tilakaratne, Senior Assistant Librarian of the NIFS. While fulfilling her duties to the best as the librarian, she also plays a major role in annual review activities and also works hard to maintain the NIFS repository. Next, we are going to present a very special and prestigious award, a service award for the contribution of 30 years of service to the NIFS. This award goes to Mr. Mahesh Kulatunga. Mr. Mahesh joined the NIFS in 1988 when Professor Ponnapperma was the director of the NIFS. He joined the Instruments Division as an assistant electronics specialist and he became the head of the division in 1997. Since then, he is working with dedication and commitment as the head of the division. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give him a round of applause as he comes on stage to appreciate the long service of 32 years. We have 3 medals for the winners of the Open Science Circle in Electronic Media. Open Science Circle in Electronic Media provides a combination of services to its members, mainly to the school community. It provides a daily science message service via text messages, email, and social networks such as Facebook, Twitter, a science blog, and also a question and answer section. In order to encourage and appreciate interactive participation, the members who provide correct answers to the questions are selected as winners of the week and are rated according to the accuracy of their answers. The members who have scored the highest rating are selected as the winners of the year and awarded a gold, silver, and a bronze medal. NIFS proudly presents the 6th consecutive award of OSCAM winners of the year 2018 and 2019. The gold medal goes to Mr. Roshin Fernando and silver medal goes to Mr. Peshala Karunaratne, and both of them are absent here today. And we have the bronze medal winner with us, Ms. Nayanthara Sapakoda. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. We have the silver medal winner with us, Mr. Peshala Karunaratne. With that, we conclude the award ceremony of the Annual Research Review 2019. Thank you very much, sir. Over to you, Surendra.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shalin Raj Karna. As we approach to the end of the morning proceedings, I would like to invite the Chairman of the Organizing Committee of the Annual Research Review 2019, Professor Gamini Senviratne, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everybody. Chief guest, Mr. Untitled Secretary of the Ministry of Higher Education, Technology and Innovation. Guest of honor, Mr. Untitled, former Secretary, State Ministry of Technology and Innovation. The Chairman of the Nifs, Professor Abdullah Soltipana, the Director, Professor Mansevira, the Secretary, Dr. Padmakanta Uragada, keynote speaker, President Rajesh Singh, who is joining from Australia as well. Former chairman of the institute, President Janaka, another former chairman, former directors, board and research council members, special divinities including the TV panel, and the whole staff of the Nifs. Today is a big day for the institute, which is coming every year to review our research we conducted previous year. Today we have about 200 participants who are here physically as well as online mainly. It shows the interest of research, scientist community in our research, even during this COVID period. On behalf of the NIRS, first I express my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Untitled, the chief guest today, for gracing this occasion by leaving his busy schedule and coming here all the way from Colombo. And I would like to thank Mr. Chepegalope, the guest of honor, our chairman, former directors, board and research council members, and special invitees who have blessed us with their presence today. Also, I would like to be thankful to the organizing committee, especially, and also Dr. Kumari Tilakaratne and her team in Science, Education and Dissemination, and all the divisions of the institute for all the arrangements they have made for the day. I would also like to thank the keynote speaker, all presenters, and those who helped in various ways, and also the whole staff of the institute. Without you, this event would not have been possible. Finally, I once again thank you all for making this event a success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We will now have the opening of the Center for Advanced Research on Nitrogen Management in Agriculture and Center for Water Research by the Chief Guest, Mr. Untitled. I would like to invite Mr. Untitled and other dignitaries to please walk up to the new building of the NIFS for the opening. Then we will break for tea and refreshments will be served at the lobby and the cafeteria. NIFS staff can proceed for tea in the cafeteria now. As we are running behind the schedule, I would like to kindly request you to be back in your seats for the second session, which will begin at 11:30 a.m. Thank you very much.
A long time. Yeah. Sorry. Then I usually Me, then me. Give presentation.